Now, did you know that the best way to train a dog is with a variable reward schedule? So that basically means that you don't give the dog a goodie every time he does something well, but instead you make it variable. You don't let him know exactly when will he be rewarded and when not. This will keep him on his feet. He will try harder because he doesn't know, oh, is this the time? Is this the one? Did I do it get well enough? And it will actually lead, when we talk about dog training, to better results and faster results. Now, this is not only limited to dogs. Humans work in a very similar fashion, and casino owners, of course, know that. They design slot machines and different card games in a way that keep you engaged, that keep you excited. You know, when are you gonna hit the jackpot? Is it this time, next time? Oh my God, I want a little bit. And same kind of system and, you know, same theory, because it kind of works like a casino these days, is social media platforms. Instagram, TikTok, you know, you swipe, you don't know what's coming next. Sometimes it really fits you, then they try something new that hits you by surprise. Also dating sites do the same. You know, you swipe on Tinder, and the algorithm slowly learns what you like, what you don't like, what surprises you, on which profiles you spend more time, less time. So it does that all the time in the background to keep you engaged. Now, approaching women on the street is a similar thing. It almost feels like gambling. I guess with the difference that in the beginning it can be more challenging and a bit more stressful. But meeting a new girl on the street that you just saw at the bus station and you talk to her and suddenly you get her number, you go on a date, you maybe make out with her, that feels amazing. It's one of the best feelings you can have. When it works, it feels amazing and it can fuel a positive reinforcement loop. Finally, it's paying off, right? Finally, some good emotions after a lot of time of struggle and insecurity, and kind of like a reward for overcoming your social fears and basically becoming a soldier, right? And to be honest, once you get the hang of it, once you overcome that initial phase, it can actually become quite addictive. I've certainly had times in my life where I couldn't wait to go out again, couldn't wait to talk to the next girl, couldn't wait to, you know, get the work done or leave class to go on the streets and approach girls. Now, the flip side of that is, of course, the negative outcome, which is getting rejected, or often you get a number and you maybe have a text exchange, but then she just doesn't respond anymore. Nothing. She just disappears. That's the worst feeling. You feel horrible. You question everything. You question your game and what you did there and why you even doing this, and you wanna go back to Tinder or call your ex-girlfriend. And let's be honest, most of the time that is the case. As I said, we can get girls' numbers. Often they might respond once or twice, or you get into some form of conversation. But as soon as you want to get more serious, a lot of girls just stop responding, or they keep delaying, and they simply won't end up meeting you. Now, of course, we could talk about why she doesn't text back on a technical level, but in this video, I mainly want to unpack what it means to get flaked on and help you overcome the emotional reactions. So I want to give you certain understandings and certain mindset to make you feel better and to overcome those negative emotions that you inevitably gonna face. Now, my name is Alex Leon. I have, in the last couple of years, approached thousands of girls. I have slept with hundreds of women, went on hundreds of dates, and guess what? I've been flaked on many hundreds of times as well. So I do know how frustrating it feels, especially in the beginning phase where you don't have that many positive reference experience yet, where you don't have like a strong mindset in a game yet. So this is why this video is really important. And I also understand that usually the type of girls who stops responding is not the one that you didn't care about anyway, right? It's always the one that you thought, oh my God, I'm leveling up, my game is getting better. I really care about this one. She's really cool. Oh my God, wow, I'm so great. You know, it's always the cute one, the ballet dancer, the extra hot one, the extra interesting one, who just flakes and disappears. So I feel you. You know, I know how frustrating it is, but let's go a little bit deeper. Now, flaking is so demoralizing because you're taking it personally. Just as much as you contribute your good results to your good game, and you know, you figured it out and you're leveling up and you did everything well, you know, and you take that personally, because it's obviously tempting to do, you take the negative experiences personally as well. Oh my God, my game sucks, you know, I'm such a retard, of course, I'm ugly. And it can even cut much deeper. It can go to a level of self-worth. You can feel emotions like, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, nobody loves me, why would anybody date me? And suddenly all those thoughts come back, and you might make excuses like, oh, of course, girls only like guys, you know, who are 6'2" and have a six-pack and a white jaw and like curly hair and blue eyes and a dog. And all those like BlackPill thoughts come back, right? BlackPill is true, I knew it, I watched this video on YouTube, turns out they're all right. And women only do like that 1%, or they already decided who they want and not, and I never had a chance anyway. So it becomes really frustrating because everything negative you maybe used to believe before you started approaching, before you had some positive emotions, can easily creep back into your mind. Now, let me stop you right there and calm you down, because you cannot read women's mind. And I know out of a lot of experience with myself and my students that the reason why a girl flakes is often pure randomness. You cannot know it, you cannot describe it. All you can do is make guesses. It might be that she had to leave town because her grandmother got sick, or her ex-boyfriend texted her and she felt really weird for 2 days, or she's on her period so she's embarrassed to meet you, or she was having a bad day, or she's just suspicious of meeting a guy she only met for 2 minutes and you asked her out too quick, right? Or any of the other 20,000 reasons. So you really don't know, and you will never know. So what you can do is develop a strong mindset around getting flaked on instead. Also, any coach that tells you there's a specific reason why you're getting flaked on, and if you just, you know, change that one little thing, then you will have all the results in the world, is lying to you and probably trying to sell you something. Again, out of my own experience and hundreds of students I've coached, often I thought a girl would flake and then she didn't, or the opposite. I was like, wow, this one is for sure, this one was great, yeah, good job, to myself or to my student, and then nothing happened, right? So by now I really took on board that I'm just like almost indifferent or not outcome dependent. I just go step by step. I, you know, let happen what happens. Obviously I'm trying to improve my communication skills and so on, but I just really internalized the randomness of this by now. And as always, obviously it's a numbers game. So the more women you talk to, the more likely that eventually somebody will not flake, right? The more women you talk to, obviously also you have more chances to improve your social skills and almost train, right? It's like training camp. And then eventually just have way better results. Now, it could be your texting, but probably it's not. But if you are a guy who tends to release a lot of pressure in normal conversation, one-on-one, then you are probably making the same mistakes in texting as well, if not worse, right? If you're a guy who is constantly double or triple texting, if you write ha 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 lol all the time, if you are always available, you know, she always gets a quick response, she never gets the feeling that you are busy or just not on your phone, if you use a lot of emojis, if you always like the last one who finishes a conversation, or in general just is pretty weak in your communication, in your offers, you know, you're not very direct when you try to meet her for a date, you're giving her the lead almost, stuff like that, where you basically release pressure all the time, you're not affirmative, you try to make her comfortable, but what it leads to is you pushing her away. Now, that is basic texting advice that I can give you. If you correct those things I just listed, your texting is probably already going to be 3 times better. If you want to have a detailed feedback on texting and really get a expert texting guide, I did prepare one, so you can click in the inbox and you can download that right now. I've been using that framework for many years for myself in my own seductions very successfully, and I've been teaching it to my students as well, because it got them from basically 0 to 90 when it comes to their texting skills. So it's for free. I'm giving it away for you guys, so just go in the description and download it right now. The Buddha said life is suffering, and That might seem a bit too dramatic, right? I mean, sure, sometimes there's hard times in life and it's not always fun and games, but in general, I'm healthy, I'm feeling pretty good. Probably you are as well. We are born in a nice country, have a good passport and so on. So it didn't really make sense at the beginning why Buddha would be such a depressed emo, but I really understood it when I was reading Sapiens, and Harari explained that this basically phrase doesn't relate to being in pain. Basically, life is suffering comes from the experience of gaining something pleasurable and then instantly realizing that it can be taken away from you in the next second, right? You might have nothing, but then you have something and then it gets taken away from you, and now you feel worse than before. This is true with money, good food, a beautiful girlfriend, a nice fast car, a beautiful house, or just a standard house. Every time you upgrade to something better and then needing to downgrade back again where you started off with, you will feel probably worse than you felt when you had it in the first place. And getting rid of that emotion is basically a big part of meditation, just accepting things the way they are. Now, you will be super aware of this if you at least thought about approaching a girl on the street, because for a big part of your life, you probably didn't even think that it's an option until you maybe saw some videos online. And then it was just normal to, walk past beautiful girls without talking to them. You didn't think about it twice. Now, when you walk past girls, knowing of the reality that you could approach them, but you're not, you already feel worse about yourself, although there is zero that actually changed. Then obviously that whole emotion gets multiplied if you start approaching, right? Now you go from nothing, you're going from this guy who doesn't really have a lot going on or is relying on his social circle to meet girls, to upgrading to the soldier mentality. You're going out, you're going into war, you taking the things you want, right? You approach girls in a respectful way. You're going for it, you have good experiences, you get numbers, you go on dates. Great. So now, obviously, flaking comes in. Girls flake, they don't respond, they don't even stop when you want to say hello, and so on. So even though you have some successes now and some good emotions, it's very easy to get frustrated, to get depressed, and basically to wanting to stop and go back to this very comfortable space where you were oblivion to the whole idea and you were just in your nice little bubble and masturbating at night and watching porn and getting good feelings and good emotions and dopamine from there. So this is a perfect opportunity to practice Buddhism, if you want to call it, without trying to be religious. Basically to practice to not be attached to anything, to source good emotions from within and then use those emotions to attract other people into your life. That's one aspect why cold approach Daygame is so beautiful and such a good training camp for your personality, because we learn things when we street approach that we can apply in other areas of life as well, and that are always going to stay true even later in a relationship, even when we get married, even when we have kids. Which brings me to the last part of this video, which is the fact that you are getting flaked on means that you are approaching women. The fact that you get numbers and then sometimes they don't respond, or often they don't respond, means that you overcame the resistance, the anxiety, the weird mental blocks you have around it, and you did it, right? You did a thing that I would say 98% of guys never even do in their whole life. That's amazing. So in a weird, paradox, you receiving and, experiencing the bad emotions and the downfalls and the struggles means you're on the right path. It means you're doing the exact thing that you should be doing, because 98% of guys are avoiding those negative emotions, those weird, feelings in your stomach and a little bit of nervousness, and are 100% missing out on all the positive emotions. Michael Jordan said famously, "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and I missed. I failed over and over and over again in my life." And he's obviously one of the most successful athletes in the history of sport. And it's almost easier to say such things with things like sports, you know, making money, getting jobs, because it doesn't go so deep, you know. Sure, you can try to build a company and fail, or, you know, train really hard for a competition and then the other wins. But with dating, I understand that it can get really lonely and really depressing, because it's very easy to take it on a deep personal level, that you start questioning your own self-worth, literally questioning, why am I even here, you know? If my genes and genetics are so worthless because no woman wants to give me attention, what am I even doing on this earth? So I understand how it can get really depressing and lonely and sad. But again, in the paradox, that's the reason why you're on this path, because you want to get better, because you want to improve and you want to level up. You don't want to just stay in the level and stage where you are right now, because that stage is what got you here, right? That stage is what made you decide to go out and approach and level up. And I'm telling you, it is possible. You know, this whole BlackPill thing of you're set and, you know, the genes you were given at birth is what you have to deal with. It's just not true, because I'm dating way above my league consistently, because I've used the principles of charm, lifestyle design, and the other kind of stages that I'm teaching to upgrade my dating life massively. So you're probably already going in the right direction if you get flaked on and sometimes have some successes. Of course, we always want to get better, you know? It's like a sport, it's like business. There is adjustments you can make. The best is you do coaching with a guy like me who will listen in on you, observe you, give you feedback in real time, and you know, really enable you to have a steep learning curve and learn really fast. But in general, you should be observant, you should have awareness of what you're doing when it comes to conversations with men, with women, in social situations, with your family, and so on, and try to make adjustments there as much and often as you can, and basically just try different things out to get different results. Also, it can be good to just be humble at the beginning and have flexible standards, you know. I experienced that a lot on live workshops, where guys feel inner resistance to approaching someone they don't feel like is their dream girl. You should give everyone a chance, and you should have very flexible standards at the beginning. First of all, because you're going to learn way faster, and second of all, because you're just not there, you know. If you're such a 10 out of 10 guy, it should be easy for you to get 10s and 9s into your life, right? But let's be honest, if you're below a 70 on my attraction scale, you're probably not gonna get a 9 out of 10 girl that easily. She has got more going on, she's got better offers. That's why she flakes. That's one reason why she flakes. So obviously there's reality to there being a social hierarchy system and a certain scoreboard where you can upgrade, but you trying to shoot 30% over your score will often just not lead to results. You should try anyway, because that's a way you upgrade, but please stay realistic, get coaching, work on yourself. And again, it's a numbers game. The more you approach, the better you will get. Don't expect results after 5 approaches, and don't complain. You know, if you got 2 numbers and they both flaked and nothing works, please be statistically smarter. So another reason why you might feel really bad about recent rejections and flakes is the fact that the closer we get to a certain breakthrough in, you know, the area that we're currently focusing our attention on, the more our ego is trying to protect us from failure, from, you know, rejection, and the bigger the resistance becomes for us to take the next step. Also, another big reason is the more you're in a certain field, the more it might feel like you suck, right? An example for that is, imagine you once do a boxing class. You know, you want to learn boxing, or a friend drags you to boxing class, you do one class, and it's like, this is fun, this was cool, okay, cool. Now imagine you're doing boxing for like 8 weeks, every second day, and you're getting better at it and better at it. And then because you're at the boxing gym every day and you see all those other pros who've been boxing for years, and you start watching YouTube videos of like really good boxers, you realize how much you suck, right? You realize how much you still have to learn. And it makes sense, right? At the very beginning of a journey, we don't know yet how much we don't know, and we only slowly learn that. So It's again proof that you are on the right path. You're growing ultimately, but obviously the more you grow, the more you know, and the more you know what you don't know. So another example from my life was when I was young, I started playing guitar, you know, and at the beginning it's fun when you learn the first 3 or 4 chords and you're like, oh cool, I can play songs, this is great. And then you get into like chord progressions and like a little bit freestyle, and you just realize, oh my God, I'm so far away from being really, really good. But at the same time, I'm doing the exact thing that will make me good, which is practicing guitar. And you being at the boxing gym is the exact thing that will make you better at boxing. And you being out there and approaching and getting girls' numbers is the exact thing that will make you better at seduction and communication. So that's a good end to this video. The point is, keep going. I know it's hard, but you are on the right path.